Hello, everybody. Welcome to Real Talk Fins Talk. I'm sorry I'm late, ladies and gentlemen. Something happened. I think I hit the wrong show. But anyway, here I am, and I want to thank you all for joining me tonight. Make sure you hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, hit that bell down there. Share with your friends, your families, and your neighbors. Yes, the Dolphins are back in business. The Dolphins are back in business, and I'm happy, and I know you are too. I haven't been this happy in a while, ladies and gentlemen. I haven't been this happy in a while. Um, a lot of good things have been happening uh, this year as far as the Miami Dolphins organization is concerned. New coaching, new management, new players, and everything else. Great draft, I feel. But yeah, Dolphins are back in business and ready to go back to work. There's got some good reports to let you all know. Um, uh, Austin Jackson is full participation in practice. I know he was injured last year, but he's good to go. In fact, all of our players got the good to go to practice. All of them were back to being healthy and ready to go. Other than Chris Bell and Baker, who we put on the PUP, I think unable. What was it? Unable to. What was it? The inactive injury, unable to perform list or something like that. Anyway, he's injured. He's still rehabbing, but he wasn't placed on the PUP, right, where he's unable to perform. So that means he would have been out for a while, maybe the whole year. So as Jeff Halfley said in the media day that he will be back sooner than later, and that's a good thing. That's a real good thing. I'm happy to hear that. Uh, and Chan, I know he had a shoulder surgery this past off season, and he's still I don't know. I think he's still recovering. I don't know if he's 100%, but you know what? Any of these veterans that we know of, like the Brewers and the Jordan Brookses, Chan, and Zach Sealer, and guys like that, give them minimum reps. They don't need to, all the reps. The ones that need most of the reps are these rookies. Remember, we drafted 13. They need all the reps they can get. Even the veterans that we brought in, give them the reps, so they can form a cohesion with the rest of the team, and give, the veterans that have been on the team, been here 3, 4, 5 years, give them the minimum amount of reps just to get the rust off. Because they know how to take care of themselves. They know what they need to do, and we've seen what they can do and what they're capable of. And what I do like is is the example that Halfley has shown and Sullivan by paying our core players, right? That's a great example. That goes a long way with these rookies that have come in, right? That we drafted. And they see that. And the other players that have come for the other teams, the other veterans that we brought in, and they see that and they're like, man, if I give 110%, I buy into the program, I keep my nose clean, I will get rewarded as well. So right there, right off the start, that sets the tone for the foundation of this team, the culture that we're trying to establish, right? And everybody buys in. They see this, and the coaches are transparent. They're honest. They're upfront. They're telling them the truth, and that's what else can you ask for in an organization, right? As I said, I'm very happy. I've got, I give you all a dose of reality, but the reality is this team is different. His team has got more energy, more they bought into the program. They're business. They're all business. They come to work, and I like also Malik Willis, our quarterback, right? he's kind of become a leader organically, not forced, not put on him by the coaches. He just kind of fallen into that place of leadership, and he's doing really well. He's not a loud, boastful leader, but he's a leader by what he said. He doesn't go out anywhere. He goes home. He's got his nose in the book. The studying the plays, and he orders in. Jordash and Jordash. That's not Jordash. Some of you that are old enough to know what Jordash is, those are the jeans back in the day. Dash, Dash and Uber Eats and all that. He orders in. He doesn't even go out. He stays to himself, and he's all business. He's ready. He's ready for this season. And that's great. But I like the way this team is hopping around. I know Alan Poupard and Chris Perkins. They've said that this team is just hopping around out there. They've got a lot of energy. They're running in and out of the huddle. They're not lollygagging around when they're going to the different stations. Coach Hafley is half the time is with the defense, half the time is with the offense. He's developing and coaching. He's coaching up these players, especially the youngsters. And not micromanaging, just coaching up, giving them tips, and the coaches are doing great. All the coaches are doing great. He's just kind of following up, making sure they're doing what he expects from them, and that's all you can ask for. But yeah, I mean, I am so happy. I haven't been this happy about our football team in a while. And I've been a fan for over 50 something years, since 1969. I don't know. How many years is that? 52, 53, 54? I don't know. But it's a long time. And, I've seen it all. I've seen all the different quarterbacks, all the different running backs, all different teams, different coaches. And I can tell you right now, this organization is pretty much doing the right thing. They're doing the right thing. Brought in the right coaches, the right people, drafted the right players, whether they were the well-known players in college or not. They brought in the players they wanted to bring in that fit, not necessarily the system as far as defense, offense, what they're running, but the system, how they want this organization to go for the future, this foundation. They're setting the foundation, the culture, and all that, and being physical, the physicality. They want us to be hard-nosed. The coaches want this team to be hard-nosed, physical team, right? And that's what I want to see this year, whether we win 2 games or 10 games, whatever it is. I want to see 110%. I want to see these players bought into the program, giving 110, 115%, playing to the very end, playing hard, whether they win or lose. And I think we're going to see that this year. I think teams are going to come out and they're going to play us and they're going to say, wow, this team is hard-nosed, physical. They give 100%. They don't give up. And they play as a team, right? As a whole. Unlike the team that, the pass regime, right? And I called the pass regime soft. I called the pass coach we had. I said he was a social worker. And as it turns out, if you listen to some of these players that are no longer in Miami, and you've listened to some players that are still in Miami, like the Jordan Brooks and others, and that Mike McDaniel had lost the locker room. And the players did not buy into the program. And we had a talented roster. We didn't have a team. Everybody was doing their own thing. Some of them were not even going to meetings. Some were leaving practice early. All that kind of stuff. The Tyreek out there getting in trouble. Jalen Ramsey talking back to the coaches and things like that. Disciplinary problems, And but this regime, I love it. Hafley, no nonsense. He's not going to put up with that crap. And he's honest. He's honest with his players. He lets them know and tells them exactly what he wants and how he wants it done. And if they don't buy into that, They don't like it. He don't care, he said. He don't care, right? He got rid of players, didn't he? The Tyreek Hills, the Tua Tagovailoas, Jalen Ramsey, Minka Fitzpatrick, others, Bradley Chubb. He don't care. He wants to win. And that's something we haven't had in a long time is a winning attitude. Winning attitude. Now, I'm not saying they're going to the Super Bowl this year. I'm not saying they're even going to the playoffs. But I will tell you this. They're going to give 110%. They're going to play hard and physical. I can see that coming. I really can. And I'm really, really happy about that. But yeah, guys, I really got people calling, stupid and crazy and, and everything else last year when I called McDaniel. They laughed at me, a social worker. And that's what he was running here, a social club. He was running a social club, right? And when they were out there on the field playing, when the rubber had to meet the road, uh, they didn't perform up to par. As talented as the roster was, they didn't perform up to par. It was all smoke and mirrors. The McDaniel era was all smoke and mirrors on offense. It was. It was all smoke and mirrors. And this year, I think we're going to see a lot of running. I think we're going to run the ball a lot of play action. I had Curtis from Ace Per Head on the show, and great show to watch. Go watch his podcast, Ace Per Head. Always breaks down film and has great analysis of this team. And he feels the same way. He feels the same way. We're going to play hard, physical, and run the ball, pound the rock, and a lot of play action. And that's where Willis thrives. Willis is good at throwing on the run and creating off script. Although I've heard in practice, the first training camp. Now it is the first training camp. I think Alan Poupard and Chris Perkins was saying that. Oh no, I take that back. It wasn't Alan Poupard. It was someone else. I heard. Who was it? I saw it on the X. It was one of the media guys. I forgot who it was. Reliable source was on the ground, boots on the ground at practice. That Willis is they're keeping him more kind of confined as a pocket passer so far. So he hasn't been running around and or doing any kind of play action, more like pocket passing. So I guess they want to develop that skill with him. And hey, I don't want to see him running around either next year or this year. Only if he has to, right? Only if he has to run. And he's capable of doing that. And we've seen the film. You can go and see the film in Green Bay where he's created off script and things like that, and throwing on the run. He's very good at that. He's got a heck of an arm. Those are with a lot of zip, from what I've heard from secondary sources. Of course, I'm not there. I'm not at practice. Probably never will make it this year. I'm here in Texas, but that's something I want to talk about too. Is when you're listening to people on podcasts and things like that, make sure you compare them with the sources that are on the ground. And that goes for the folks that are on the ground too. If you got some folks that are, saying something different, then compare. What I'm saying is compare the notes from all these different media guys that are out, down there in practice and stuff. And if it kind of goes together, then you could say, okay, that's what's happening. But if it's like off the wall kind of stuff and all that, and then you can say, no, it's not true. It's just not true. Right. You got guys, just giving them your opinion and gaslighting you, really, I guess, trying to get you to believe something that really isn't, that these guys that are on the ground are seeing, but, he's telling you something different. Right. Number one, he's either not there And he's just forming his own opinion from what he's seen on some of these guys that are not there, that are, making comments on X, or some of these, videos you see and everything on X, and practices and stuff. You can't make anything out of that. You know, you got to see it with your own eyes on the ground. Totally different perspective. So make sure you get who you're listening to, right? Just pick some good, reliable sources. Alan Poupard's good. Chris Perkins, Omar Kelly's down there. TD Finstock. I don't know if he's going down there this year, but he has in the past. You know, Jason Sarney's gone down there. That's another thing. Make sure you check out Finn's Faithful podcast. They got a great podcast. Jason and George over there. They do good analysis, have good interviews and things like that. A lot of them, a lot of good podcasters out there. 305 Sports Babe. You've got Rainy Day Podcasts. When the season starts, I'm sure he'll be talking more Dolphins. You got Finn Sammy and Finn's TV. And then, of course, you've got us. You've got the Fence Talk Sports Network. We've got a lot of content on here. Not only Real Talk Fence Talk, you got 10th Street East 10th Street Boys. You got baseball with Ross Morgan and Finn Sammy. You've got wrestling. You've got overtime when the season starts. You got a lot of good content here. Just check it out. I don't talk enough about our network here. We've got some good content here. Make sure you check it out. And of course, Real Talk Fans Talk. But I really enjoy doing this program. I've been doing it for 4 years now, and I try to keep it real. I keep it honest. I give you a dose of reality. I know a lot of folks that come over here and watch this show. They come over here for a dose of reality because they know I'm not gonna give you a bunch of fluff. I'm not gonna give you smoke and mirrors and blow smoke up your butts. I'm gonna tell you like it is. And if you've watched me the last 4 years, you know that's what I do. And I keep it real. If it's my opinion, I tell you it's my opinion. If I hear it from another source, I usually, I'm gonna let you know who the source is that I heard it from or what they said. And if I listen to good content, other podcasts, and I feel that they're honest and being upfront and not blowing smoke up your ears, then I will also, you know, tell you that and recommend those podcasts. I'm not afraid to do that. I'm really not. You know, uh, if somebody has a good podcast, I'm going to share it with you all. And I hope that they do the same for me as well. We're in this ball game together, right? As podcasters, as creators, content creators. So that's the way I look at it, and I feel like I get blessed. Whether they, recommend this show or not, I feel like, I'm going to get blessed one way or the other. So anyway, um, or I'm blessing them as well. Giving them some blessings and all that kind of stuff. For me, that's the Christian thing to do. But anyway, that's beside the point. Um, I want to thank you guys for coming on here and watching the show tonight. And I just wanted to share some of that information with you. There's really not a lot to that to share right now other than what I've heard. And I'll be quite frank with you. I really haven't been keeping up with it. Uh, I am settled here now in my new home here in Central Texas. So I will be trying to be more consistent on this program, whether it be on a Tuesday or Wednesday. I haven't figured out which day I'm going to be more consistent at, doing, but I'll work it out. Um, but yeah, guys, I'm very excited for this season. I really am. And I think you all should be too. I know there's a lot of folks that are kind of down about about the team right now. We're gonna, we're only gonna win 2 or 3 games and this, that, and the other. Honestly, I don't think we're gonna win win only 2 or 3 games, guys. I really feel good about this team. They wanna win. They got players that are hungry, right? Some of these free agents we brought in, you know, they're hungry, and they played in this league. They're veterans. They played in this league. Maybe they didn't get the opportunity at some of the teams that they played on, and now they get that opportunity. They get to prove themselves. They get to, you know, uh, get to start or maybe be a role player or whatever, some opportunity they never had at these other teams. So I know they're hungry. Some of them may even have a chip on their shoulder. So I think this team is going to be a lot better than what people are projecting. And I say that because I feel that the Halfley and Sullivan have set the foundation, the culture. They brought in physical players, players that are hungry and they're physical, and a lot of them have bought into the program, because Halfley and Sullivan have been honest and upfront what they want to do and how they want to do it. And they don't care whether you buy into it or not. If you got a bad attitude and you don't want to play for them, they've shown that they just don't care. I mean, they care about the players, but they don't care what your feelings are. If you don't want to play with this organization and buy into it, say la vie. Look, we got rid of Tyreek. We got rid of Tua. They let Jalen Ramsey go. They let I think they Minka Fitzpatrick and some other players, Bradley Chubb, right? Gone, right? Rasul Douglas, gone. Jack Jones, gone. A lot of players they've released, but they released a lot of players and they brought in a lot of players. And again, I think a lot of them are hungry and they got something to prove, and they even might have a chip on their shoulder. So I see, I see a team that's going to do a lot better than expected. I've said this in other podcasts of mine as well, and I still believe that. I just don't see anything any different yet. Okay, maybe down the line I will, but right now this is how I'm feeling. So I'm happy and can't wait. Can't wait till the regular season starts. Only a couple more months away, and we got, preseason coming up. This in 2 days it'd be August, so in another few weeks we got preseason, right? Really see how this team can mesh and come together. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm excited. But yep, Dolphins are back to work, guys. I'm happy. Can't wait till the season starts. Just wanted to let you all know that, and I will definitely be trying to be more consistent on here. And I'm going to try to do these little 20 and 30-minute shows for the rest of the off season. Excuse me. Yeah, the rest of the training camp, not season. The rest of the training camp up into the regular season. Then I'll start, having my pregame and postgame shows. Usually have the pregame like a half an hour. Half an hour of the show, and then the other half an hour of the show will be the pregame. Is how I normally been doing it. So I'll continue to do that. I'll continue to have special guest on, and if I have special guest on during the camp, bringing folks in and talking and everything, and I go live, probably go an hour with them. But if it's me solo, you don't want to see me for an hour just rambling, and because number one, I'm not even down there watching the practices. I'm only getting secondhand information, and I'm going to relay it to you the best I can. I'm going to keep it real, though. I'm not going to make you believe something that that's not really not really the truth, right? Not really happening, just so I can get clicks or, just to have a show. I'm not going to do that. I'm not like that, and I'm not going to do that. So I do appreciate you joining. Make sure you hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, go down there at that little bell down there, hit that bell, share with your friends, your families, your neighbors, and see you next week. And remember, Dolphins number one, baby. Dolphins number one.